Hello friends, welcome to Coding Jackpot. So in this video, I'm creating the project of to-do list. So this is the interface of our to-do list.
In backend, I'm using latest version of .NET 9. In database, I'm using SQL Server Management Studio. And in front end, I'm using Angular 17.
My first task is wake up, click on add. Second task is make a bed. Third task is do meditation, click on add. So here you can see the list of things are added in the table, and once your task is done, you click on checkbox, then the task is off and you simply delete this task. Is that simple? This is how I created this to-do list. Go to files, create new project. Now here in search bar you can search for ASP.NET Core Web API. I already created the project, that's why the ASP.NET Core Web API is here. Click on that. I am giving the name of the project as to-do list, and here is the connection. Here is the location of our project. So click on next. I am using framework.NET 9 standard term support. So click on create. Okay, so this new window is open. Here is the name of the project, to-do list, and the app setting, .json file, controllers, programmer files, dependencies, everything is available. The weather forecast is not required, so I'm deleting that. Here inside the controller, delete this weather forecast. Okay, so in dependencies, we have to add packages. Go to manage nuclear packages and search for entity framework core. And here Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Select that and click on install. Apply and I accept. And second one is SQL Entity Framework Core SQL Server. Third one is tools. Here you can see Microsoft Entity Framework Core tools. Install. And one more thing is here that swashbuckle means Swagger is not available in this latest version of .NET 9. So we have to add the package of Swagger. So search for Swagger UI. Here you can see swashbuckle ASP.NET Core Swagger UI. Select that and install. Our packages were installed. Now here in properties, in launch setting, as you can see here in launch browser, the launch browser is false, but as we are running the Swagger by using this HTTPS request, so here we need to do this as true. By means once we hit this, then our Swagger will start running. So simply save this and go to app settings, and here we have to give the location of our database. So first we have to create the database. In database, right click and create new database. I'm giving the name as todo appdb. Todo appdb. Click on OK, and here inside that todo appdb, create new query. I create table for todo item. I provided ID and it is the primary key. And second is title. The title is provided by which adding the task, and is complete is represents whether the task is completed, that is true or false. And created at is means it represents the creation of date and time of the task. Okay, so simply we run this query, execute. Now in Visual Studio, in app setting.json, here we have to give the path of our database. Here you can see the connection string and the default collection where I provided the database connection. Here is server name which we can copy from. Simply go to SQL Server and disconnect SQL Server and again connect it. And after connecting that, you have to, as you can see, the server name. You just simply copy the server name. I already copied that, and I already provided here in app setting.json, and you have to give the name of database. I already provided here, and every single certificate which is required that we have to mention. I provided that trusted connection is true, trust server certificate is true, multiple activity results is equal to true. After giving the connection here in default connection in app setting.json file, we just have to create our database approach. My means we have to migrate our data from SQL Server to here in Visual Studio. For that, we just have to run scaffolding command here in package manager console. If you not get this package manager console here, simply you just go to tools, and here you got package manager. Here is package manager console available. Click on that, you simply get here. Okay, now we have to run the scaffolding command. Here I am using the scaffolding command. I provided the server connection and the database name, and all the certificates that what we required is provided here. You just pause this video and note it down everything. I'm simply running this command. We start building our project. Wait for a minute. And here you can see the scaffolding done properly. The dev model folder is created, and now we have to go to controller and create our controller. Add and go to controller. Here you see API. Select the API controller empty, and I am giving them as todo item controller. Todo add. Here in controller we have to provide our constructor for dependency injection. So I am providing that. Now you can see I provided this constructor. This todo app. This constructor is used to inject our todo app DB context into the controller, and the context field is used to interact with our database, especially with todo item table. And now we just have to create our action methods. Now I'm creating the get method. Here in get method, the public async. Async is the fetching all data from database, and then it returns the task, means this is eventually hold the result. Then action result. It will allow you to return different type of HTTP response such as success and error response. Then IEnumerable. This will return the collection of list of ToDo items object. Then it comes to await. In await, the code will pause here until the operation fetching data is done, but it wouldn't block the rest of the application. Then it comes to context. Context is represent the connection with the database, and this to do list to I provided the ID, and here I provided the if statement, because if I'm not found anything, then it shows return not found, and if I found something, then it returns to do item. Then I provide HTTP post request. I am providing post method. In this post method, we are provided this to do item because we have to post our task. After this, we have to create. Now I am creating this delete method. This delete method, here you can see I provide this if statement. If anything is not found, then it returns back, and if anything is found, then it simply delete the ID. Now here in program.cs file, I have to provide the Swagger path. So I'm simply providing here, and I'm giving the name as todo API. After this, we have to provide our DB context connection path here in builder services. We simply provide here, as you can see, builder.service app.db context to do app.db context. Okay. We also have to provide the course policy. As you can see, I provided a course policy.
Now,
First, go here in to-do list, right click and clean the solution. Okay, cleaning is complete. Now build the solution. It checks whether there is any error. Okay, build is succeed. There is no error in the list. So we are running our API. Yes. Type slash swagger. Yeah. All methods are present. Get method, post method and delete method. So our API is done. We are heading towards Angular. Now we are creating Angular part. The location where we are saving the project, we have to simply go there, and at the top we have to type cmd, hit enter. This command prompt window is opened. First we have to install g new and the project name as todo app. Hit enter, and it asks which style sheet format would you like to use. I'm using CSS. Type CSS, hit enter. And do you want to enable service side? I will type yes, hit enter, and just wait for load the project. This to do app folder is created. So right click and open in VS Code. This VS Code window is open. Now, as you can see here, the src file. This file is important. In this, we are creating our everything of our project, and this app file. This is default. In that, our component.css file, HTML file, everything is present. The route, which is important. First, we just have to create the component. So right click on src and open in integrated terminal. And here in this terminal, type ng generate component as todo component. Hit enter. This is asking some permissions. I will type yes, and this todo component is created. As you can see here, todo component. Now we have to create a service. Ng generate service. type to do, hit enter, and service also created. We not required this to do service spec file, so simply delete this file. And in this to do service, we have to provide the service of our to do. Why this service is important? Because it connect with our API with .NET. In import section, we import what we require. Now I am providing the path of our API and also provide the constructor as we provided in our controller. We have to provide the constructor as HTTP. So we provided the private HTTP as HTTP client. So this client we have to implement here in apps. This app config.ts file, we just have to import that, provide HTTP client. Okay, so we save that and come back to the service. But before we creating the service, I have to show you that how I generate this private URL path. You just have to go to Swagger, and in Swagger, here I created the get method. Just try out this get method and just execute that. Here you can see in request URL, just get this HTTP request. So copy that path and paste it in uh, your private URL. And now I am creating the services. Here you can see I created the services for get to do, add to do, and delete to do. And meaning of this observable used by this HTTP client to handle API call, and then it send any of ID and it returns this .http get, and it takes any one of ID, and then this .api URL means this private API URL is mentioned here. Same with this add to do, just have post method here, and in delete to do we have delete method, and it provides ID as number. Okay, so our uh, service part is clear. Now I'm going to todo component.ts file, and here first I provide this array, todo array, and second one is this variable which hold the title of the new todo item. Now I am providing constructor. Here I provided the constructor, and constructor is todo service as what we create here, and it is mentioned here in import section. I already imported. You also import this todo service in import section, and this common module, this ng4, and this forms module as well. So you have to import here, and in this import section you have to mention this common module, ng4 and forms module. I already mentioned that. You just have to mention this same. This ng4 is required in our HTML, that's why I mentioned here. So you also have to import that. Don't forget to import this ng4, otherwise the loop is not work. Now I'm providing ag on in it. This will helps to separate the constructor and logic. Then I'm providing the methods. Here I provided all methods. First method is get method, get to do, where get method forms injected to do service, and it subscribes observable written by the to do list. And this add to do, this method adds a new to do to the list, and first it checks the new to do title, and this is incomplete, and false statement indicates that this task is not yet done, and once the task is done, then it's sent to the array and our to do gets added. And same I created this delete file as well. Okay, then this to do component.ts file is done. Hope this import section you imported all, and this import common model ng4 and forms model, everything you have to import. Now I am heading towards this todo component.html file. This todo component.html file, I am providing the HTML. Here I provided the HTML. This image where I created a node logo, and then in h1 tag I added this to-do list. And here in input I created a class for CSS, and in ng model there is new to do title is provided, where the placeholder is entering the new task in taskbar, and this key down dot enter is provided, means when we hitting enter key then it add the task. That's why I added the key down enter, and this button is provided, and this click method is added, then it adds the to do, simply adds. And after that I provide the ng4, which is mentioned here in todo component.ts file. You have to import this here in import section ng4, and then uh, this input type checkbox is provided. Why? Because once our task is done, then we click on checkbox, then it shows yes this task is complete. So I added that. Uh, Look at this to do is complete is provided here. Okay, then in spam then span class task title, that is to do title is provided, and button done button is added, means just check this HTML code. Now we are heading to app component.css file, to do component.css file, and here all HTML is generated, where I use table. Here I use to do container, and I provided every max width, margin, padding, background color, text align. Here is taskbar, where we add the task, and then the buttons, and the hover of the button is also implemented here, and then table structure is also implemented, and here is I provided this table hover. Now I'm going to the routes. In routes we have to add our path. I am simply adding that. Here the redirected to do means once we start the localhost, then in default the to do is open automatically. That's why I provided this redirect to do path. Path match is full, and here the path is to do, where I added the component to do component, and I imported here in import section that to do component and the path of the to do component. Okay, and from route I am going to app component.html, and here you have to provide this router outlet. In default there is HTML of Angular is present, so you have to delete that first and provide this router outlet. Okay, now we simply run our project, that ng s minus o, hit enter. We start building the project. Hit launch. Now we are adding our first task, that is subscribe to coding jackpot. Add. As you can see, the subscribe to coding jackpot is added, and if the task is complete, means you subscribe this channel, then simply click on it, and this task is complete, then click on done. The table is empty. Hope you like this video. If you like, give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to this channel and share with your friends. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.